it's a real pioneer, Glen Kizer, who, in my opinion, started this, and then he's done, I think, 800 schools now all over the country, the world, and it goes on and on. So without further ado, Mr. Glen Kizer!
Yeah. Yeah. Guys, how do I do view shit? How do I make that shit?
Did it sound like there's none of these meetings for the next 2 months? Is that what you understand?
Right.
Nothing for May or June.
We're going to have the special things.
No.
What's he want to do?
I'm a lawyer.
He wants to get you his
Like
PowerPoint.
Is view show on me somewhere?
Trying to start the PowerPoint president.
All right. I don't have a lot of time, so.
We open it. It's in there.
Yeah.
Go down to the bottom row.
Yeah, there it is.
Keep going.
Straight below your arrow. To the right. To the right. The right one. There you go. Click on that. There you go.
All right, you guys are real helpful. First of all, I don't have a lot of time, and I gave part of my time to Bill Resch, who Sarah will find will never get off this area, so Greg may not be able to speak, because Bill is an old friend, but he just won't stop talking. I've known Bill a long time, and I find that whenever anybody calls you a pioneer, it's because you're old and they just want to figure out some way to talk about it. But we started the Solar Schools program, as Bill said, at Bluffsview, and I've got a picture there. I also realized I've got just thousands of pictures of early stuff in Ohio, a lot of history where everybody looks better and younger. But a lot of people wouldn't care about that today, so I'm not going to do those. But we are going to have a teacher training workshop this fall. I talked to Bill about. We'll probably have it in New Albany, and maybe I'll do a little slideshow and show pictures of Bill when he had darker hair. And Bay's in the pictures, Bob, and all the people in Worthington. We had a lot of fun. What's really interesting about all of this is in 1998 we did Bluffsview Elementary. It's actually a 2 kW system, but there's 3 kW of panels. 1 kW of the panels is not connected. Most people don't know that. The reason that is because we couldn't figure out how to make it look kind of straight on the sides. We just bought extra panels. People ask me how much that system cost, and I say about $150,000 when you figure all the meetings and stuff. We hired an installer from California who flew in and installed it, but didn't know about the freeze line and had to fly back and reinstall it. So just to give you some indication how much that thing cost. All right. I don't like everybody just does too much short-term thinking. Everybody does things for the short term. And what I believe in and what has made this country great, what made Geo great, what makes all of our lives really worthwhile is the long-term investments. The marriage, the kids. I have granddaughters. In fact, I have a history of pictures of my little kids who all looked unhappy standing in front of solar panels as they progressed through the years, and now they won't, of course, do that. But, you buy a house, you get married, you have to worry about retirement, for you stockbrokers. You go to college, the environmental movement. And on one hand, you could say it's, life is depressing because we still litter. But in reality, when you go to events like this one, you see that there's a lot to be optimistic about. We just have to push the positive and put up with the negative in the meantime. I think joining GEO is a long-term investment in the future. And I'm going to say that AEP's Learning from Light program, the first one at Bluffsview, a week ago today, I was at a 500 kW installation that I'm going to show you now in a minute here. And the same model that we used in Bluffsview, we did the exact same program in San Joaquin. And we're going to do a really large 5 megawatt project in Santa Clara. We're going to use the same model that we used at Bluffsview. Because while I, I've always talked about change. Once I learn to do something, everybody has to follow this. So what we worry about is the long-term investment in the training of the teachers, the education of the students. We give them hardware. We don't sell to schools. We help schools do solar. Right now I'm doing a project with Solar World. We just did the first one in Virginia, the second one in Portland, and the third one's going in San Francisco, and we've got one going into Minneapolis. But small projects will turn into larger projects, but that's not what our goal is. That just happens. In Santa Clara, we gave them a 1 kW system, and they built a 500 kW, and now they want to do more. They asked me a week ago today, what else can we do? They've got electric car charging stations. There's no limit to what they're doing. The kids are building things. It's all good. What Bill's doing, and he's going to tell you about, it's all good, but we just need more schools to do it. Because this education, not doing it for them, but the education will be important for the future. The model, this is what I just talked about. These are some of the places, and there's a lot more, but these are some of the places we've done solar projects, solar school projects. We just did one in Massachusetts. I said we did the one in Oregon and the one in Virginia. We did one in Haiti. We did one in Bolivia. Okay, this was the first project, and like I said, that's a 3 kW system, but only 2 kW actually works. And I gotta go quickly here. This was a letter written in 2000 by Karen Groff, who still works for the Worthington Schools, talks about how it helped them in the classroom. That was in 2000. This was the system that we gave to San Joaquin with using PG&E's utility money. That was a 1 kW system they put on the parking lot. They loved it. The kids were excited. Everybody was good. So they went out and found bond money. They didn't use the PPA. Greg's going to talk about how to finance large projects. But this was the project that they did. They bid it out. I was on the team that reviewed the bids. They hired a contractor. They used bonds. It's $2.5 million. They're saving money from day one. It's a cool project, just like the projects you guys are doing in Ohio. These are projects that can happen. That's not our goal, but what happens is it's good for the kids to see that the 1 kW can turn into larger, and they can use if they use it in the classroom, then they learn what it is. It shouldn't be there as just a thing like the power plants that they don't know how they work. This is what it looks like underneath, and I just like that picture. So. But they built these cars, and I don't have a picture of it, but I rode around on one, all over the parking lot really fast, and could have hurt myself. But they build these in the classrooms, and they ride around the parking lot everywhere. In fact, the kids involved, deliveries and stuff, and they were everywhere. It was so cool. You wouldn't let me drive one for a long time. But again, doesn't this look like Bluffsview? It looks like projects in Indiana, Illinois. They all look the same. You bring in the community, you make the solar panels visible, everybody likes it, they all want to do more. We're doing an energy efficiency program now in California where all the solar schools get energy efficiency assistance, and we've already done that in Illinois, and it works really well. And again, there is the state of California school superintendent, the state senators, a congressman, all sorts of people. I don't know who they are, but they were all there. And this, a local artist designed this, made it out of copper, which I figure has already been stolen. But they paid for the plaque. We did a project, one of the Learning from Light programs in West Virginia, and the project in West Virginia, I've told this story so many times, and I don't have a picture of it, but the guys at the plant who worked at one of AEP's coal-burning power plants wanted to do one of these for their kids right after, because somebody there was from Bluffsview. And so AEP didn't know how to get that going right at the beginning and stuff, so the guys that worked at the plant all donated the money. We helped, put it together and gave them some extra money.